listeners. My name is Cliff Ratza. I'm the author of two ongoing series of novels, the Lightning Brain series and its sequel, the Keepers series. And in addition to being an author and a writing coach, I teach at universities and have a consulting business. If you would like to learn more about me, my books, or my writing coach activities, or make comments or suggestions, please contact Prime Solutions via the lightningbrainseries.com website. I try to make videos that I believe authors and writers and most people would like to listen to. And the one I am now recording builds on my previous two, which center on Russia's Ukrainian invasion. This one is titled Media Messages from the Ukrainian Invasion. Some lessons for authors and writers, and all listeners too. And like its predecessors, I will make this podcast brief and to the point. Now, each person watching Ukrainian invasion news videos or reading reports, well, each person comes away with their own impression and point of view topics. What I'll do in this video is summarize some of mine, which are looking at what we can learn about the importance of the media. And all I want to do is mention the topics of interest. You can decide if they are important or make sense to you. So here we go. Authors and writers are told to show, don't tell their stories. And what I see on the news videos certainly shows how true that is. The pictures shock our emotions more than the journalists' words. Although I must say, the journalists' voices often show their emotions too. And the power of social media and online reporting is obvious. People around the globe can see what's happening right now. The world is globally connected, and that's a good thing. But what about fake news? Well, it seems that for topics that command world attention, the quantity and consistency of stories coming in allow viewers and analysts to separate the lies from the truth. Events like the Ukrainian invasion bring out the best in journalistic reporting. I am impressed by reporter courage and dedication. And what they are showing right now is the brutality and violence wars bring us. Action, adventure, thriller movies often depict stunning superhero battles, but that is not reality. And you would know that if you've seen even a minor gunshot wound or automobile accident. And here's another observation. The younger generation, which is often criticized for the time spent on social media, is very smart. Reporter interviews of kids and parents show that children today are much more aware and knowledgeable of the world they're living in than they're given credit for. And they are concerned about what's happening because outcomes affect the future, which they will inherit from adults. Parents tell us they will always make sacrifices for their children. That's part of our DNA. And here are a couple of examples I saw and heard on the news recently. A father loading his family on a train bound for Poland while he remains to fight. Or a reporter who asked two Ukrainian college freshmen why they wanted to be part of the Citizens Volunteer Army. They answered that they were fighting for their country, their home, and their future. And we're also seeing how willing Americans are, as well as people from around the globe, to send food, clothing, money, or other forms of support for people who through no fault of their own are suffering. And I'll make one more observation. Reporters sometimes reference great books like 1984 and Brave New World that have warned us about tyrants and wars. And one I heard recently talked about Alexander Solzhenitsyn's novels like The Gulag Archipelago or One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. These novels expose the dark underside of Russian-like tyranny. And here's a summary I've heard from different reporters. It goes like this. What the world is seeing right now is how bankrupt the Russian leadership and its government is. How tragic, because the Russian people and their culture deserve so much more. I think most people would agree. And I would like to give you my simple scholar summary of the Ukraine, a country for which I knew very little until reading articles or watched YouTube videos. Please read or watch other info sources if you have the time and interest. The Ukraine is the second largest country in Europe, measured by area. Russia is the largest. And the name Ukraine means borderland. The Ukraine has always been a desired area because of three geographical features. The rich black soil, making it the breadbasket of Europe. Its horizontally blue and yellow flag layers signify this. Another factor, the Dnieper River for transportation. And a third geographical feature, the Black Sea coastline for access to the oceans. Ukrainian history and its people reflect tribes and ethnic groups from the West, Poland and Lithuania in particular, the East, Russia, the Tartars and Mongols and other nomads from Asia, and the South, Turkey and the Middle East. Ukrainians have always sought freedom and independence. Their Cossack heritage is like that of the American cowboy. Ukrainian culture blends the East and the West, and it has always drawn into their writing and painting the best from others. But Ukrainian writing and painting and music have often been discounted by other countries and cultures. Russia has always suppressed or outright banned art that its government doesn't like. Here's an example. Dmitry Shostakovich, a great early 20th century composer that the Communist Party disrespected. And do you know that the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear reactor disaster occurred in the Ukraine? The Chernobyl disaster was a nuclear accident that occurred on 26 April 1986 at the number 4 reactor in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the city of Pripyat in the north of Ukrainian Soviet Social Republic. It is considered the worst nuclear disaster in history, both in cost and casualties. And do you know that the Ukraine voluntarily turned in its nuclear arsenal in return for territorial and sovereignty assurances? That says a lot about the character of the Ukrainian people and its government. The more I learn about the Ukraine, the more I support the country and its people in its fight against the Russian invasion. And I think the outpouring of support from around the globe agree. But the choice is yours, so please learn as much as you like so you can make an informed decision. And that's all for now, and I thank you for listening. Bye-bye.